On the last year and a half, 2 years for me, but like all my buddies have been getting married lately, right? Like I tell you, the craziest wedding I went to though was about a year and a half ago. Last summer, I went to Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade's wedding, right? And I didn't want to go to it. I got the invitation, I never returned it. Gabrielle called me like a week for the wedding. She goes, "Gary, you're not coming? We never got your invitation back." I said, "Nah, I ain't gonna make it." She goes, "Come on, we only invited 100 people. We really want you there." I was like, "Fuck. All right, I'll go." I tell you why I didn't want to go to their wedding. I found out it was going to be a $5 million wedding. These two spent $5 million on one day on their wedding. And I knew the other 99 people that were going to be at the wedding, so I knew I was going to be the brokest motherfucker at the wedding, right? And I'm doing okay in life, but I want to see how other people is living to make me feel like my life ain't shit. And that's exactly what the fuck happened when I went to the wedding. First of all, let me tell you what these two did. They sent an invitation out with no address on it. It just said, "Be in Miami by this day at this time." So I fly out of Miami. I'm sitting in my hotel room. An hour before the wedding's supposed to start, I get a text message on my cell phone with an address on it. Come to find out later, everyone got the same text message. They had the wedding at an undisclosed location to make sure the paparazzi didn't know where it was. So everyone got in their cars, we're all driving to this address, right? I don't know how Gabrielle and Dwayne found this shit. They found a castle in the middle of Miami. Like a real fucking castle. I mean, it had a moat around it, a drawbridge. I think I saw a dragon. I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure I did. I saw a little midget from Game of Thrones, a little Tyrion Lannister running around, you know? So I get there, right? I cross the drawbridge, I go in the castle, I go to the back of the castle. It's an outdoor wedding. I take my seat in the courtyard, Dwayne walks out. Everybody's waiting for Gabrielle to walk out. And I'm like, how can Gabrielle walk out? There's only one entrance, you know? I notice all of a sudden, the back drawbridge starts to lower, and there's a mountain sitting behind the castle. I look up at the top of the mountain, and Gabrielle just pops up on the top of the mountain. Got her wedding dress on, you know? And then she came walking on the mountain real slow. As she was walking on the mountain, her wedding march song was All of Me by John Legend. And I was like, oh, that's a cool wedding march song. I would never thought of that. I looked to my right, John Legend's singing this shit in person. I was like, hold up, is John Legend singing this shit? So now I'm assessing my life. I'm like, hold the fuck up. I'm in a castle. I'm watching Gabrielle Union walk down a mountain, you know, and John Legend's right next to me singing a song. I looked at my wife and apologized for our wedding. I said, damn, baby, I'm sorry about that bullshit I put together. Shit. We just had a DJ, our reception at the VFW hall. We had a buffet with spaghetti and Texas toast. They had no Texas toast at Gabrielle's wedding. Fuck your $5 million. You had nothing to sup up that marinara. Ain't nothing like that Texas toast on that marinara. That shit's good. Got that marinara. I just like saying marinara. That's the only reason I wrote that joke. I like going to weddings, all right? Me and my wife, we just celebrated our 11-year wedding anniversary not too long ago. Our 11-year wedding anniversary, yeah. Same pussy for 11 years. A little love song I wrote my lady. Same pussy, same pussy. Same pussy for 11 years. I ain't wrote the rest of the song yet. I'm still working on the lyrics, but I got the hook down. That's the most important part, is the hook, you know? Figure if I can get some background singers on it, that'll really set the song off, you know? Some bomb-ass background singers, you know? Same pussy for 11 years. Same pussy, same pussy. Swear to God, that motherfucker be a hit. I got the end written too. I wrote the end of it because I like love songs that have a real sexy ending, so I gave my love song to my wife a real sexy ending, you know? Same pussy for 11 years. Same pussy, same pussy. Same pussy. Yeah. Little Trey Songz in them on. Little Trey. Little Trey. Same pussy. Same pussy. My wife's this type of chick too. Like every week my wife's gotta get her toes done and her nails done. Then sometimes my wife will go get a Brazilian and wants to come home and show me it, you know? Like I walk in the bedroom, she'll be like, look Gary, I got a Brazilian. I'm like, it's still the same pussy. She ain't like she brought a whole new pussy home. Now, pussy got a haircut. That's all it is. Pussy got a haircut. Same pussy for 11 years. Pussy got a haircut. Same pussy, same pussy. Same pussy. That's that Ludacris part of the song. You know Ludacris just popping a love song? Luda, pussy got a haircut. Some of you gonna be singing that shit on the way home, man. Hell, some of you be on the way to church on Sunday. Same pussy for... Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, we gotta go to altar call. Okay. Kids are in the back seat. Is that Lil Bootsy's new song, Daddy? Is that Lil Bootsy's new song? No, that's a Gary Owen original right there, son.
What's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen. Get some. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. You can listen to this on iTunes at search Gary Owen, hashtag Get Some, or search up United We Cast, or you can go to YouTube and go to youtube.com/GaryOwenCom. This week, last Monday, I filmed the show Wildin' Out with Nick Cannon, and it's going to air in December. Spoiler alert, my team won. Thank you. I was so nervous. Let me tell you what I was nervous about. I go on Wildin' Out, and I was so nervous about the freestyle rap at the end because I'm not a rapper. And even as I'm taping the show, it's funny because some of my references, I was like, I just didn't go up and talk because I was like, I don't know if they'll get it. So I'm so nervous about the freestyle rap. I'm so nervous about it. And then Nick immediately comes after me. Now, people don't know me and Nick Cannon's history. Me and Nick Cannon started doing stand-up together in San Diego. I was doing stand-up, and he was in a rap group called The Bomb Squad. And it was Nick Cannon, this other guy. I don't know where the other guy is. But Nick was a rapper. His manager and me got to know each other. Then Nick started hanging out. And I remember Nick was like, hey, man, I must do stand-up. I was like, you should. And then he started doing stand-up. And I remember his first time on stage, he was doing other people's jokes. And I was like, yo, Nick, you know that's not your joke. He goes, oh, yeah, I saw it last night on Comic View. I thought it was funny. I go, no. You got to do your own shit. He didn't know you can't do that. And it was funny, man. We would ride together to LA all the time. I had an S10 pickup, and me and Nick getting that sumbitch, and we drive from San Diego to LA, and we were just both getting our names out there. And he was a young guy because people was calling us Kobe and Piakowski when we walked into our room. So as soon as we walked in, I go, oh, here comes Kobe and Pike. Here comes Kobe and Pike. And I remember like it yesterday. We went to Oakland and we did this thing called the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. It was a huge competition back in the day. Like people were getting discovered at that competition. And Nick was in it. And Nick was a young kid. He's probably 16, 17. And he did well. And there was somebody from Disney in the audience because they had real talent execs at that Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. And it's where I'm talking about mid-90s, late 90s. That's where a lot of talent agents went to find new black comedians, was the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. And I remember somebody from Disney was there, and they came and they asked to talk to Nick. And then Nick he was the warm-up for that show, All That, on Nickelodeon. And then he became a regular on the show, and then he started getting his own stuff. But that's where people first started to, get wind of Nick Cannon. He's a good-looking guy. He was a young kid. He had fun. I remember he had funny stuff, but it was clean. He was clean. That was the thing. Like you're going against some monsters. They're talking about pussy and dick. And then Nick would go up there and it was clean material. And keep in mind, you only had to do 5 to 10 minutes. So, it's not like you're doing an hour. That's a whole another ball game right there. But for Nick to be a young guy and to be clean like that, it had corporate written all over him. And I just remember riding up there with him. Oh, and I wore the worst outfit. Like green bottoms with the matching tops because I bought it in Oakland. I bought my outfit because I was in the semifinals. I got the first time I was in the semis. I was like, I'm going to blow away with this one. What was I thinking that night? I wish somebody had a picture of that outfit. I wish I had more pictures back then. You really had to have a camera and go to develop it at Ritz our camera store and stuff. But anyways, I got to the freestyle rap part of Wildin' Out and I crushed it. And I was really freestyling. I don't know where it came from, but Nick came after me and I had to come back. And then this girl came after me and I had to come back for her. So I don't want that to cat out the bag, but I was the captain of the Black Squad and the Black Squad won. And I got the belt with me. I'm going to post it when it airs of me with the belt. But it's crazy. It's a real belt. Like I thought it was like some fake thing to give back. No, whoever wins, they give you the belt. So I packed, here's the thing. I packed the Wildin' Out belt up. I folded real neatly and it's a legit, like like boxing belt, the title people, the same dude that do the real belts, because it's got the fur on it. You could wear it. It's nice. I got it, and I pack it so neatly in my bag. I got it flat. It's wrapped up real tight and everything. I get home, I unzip my bag, and my bag's in disarray. And now they folded my belt. They went through my bag. Security. They got the piece of paper that says, we checked your bag. I said, at least fold my shit up right. Because my belt it's in a black little case, almost like a garment bag case. And then they had it wrapped up in the white, the white paper. Like you're buying a new pair of shoes or something like that. So the white stuff that when you open the box, the white stuff's gone. They just ripped it up. And I was like, these son of bitches, they better not scratch my shit. Because that belt is gone in my basement. I freestyle rap that victory. I think my freestyle rap won it because I came back hard. Other things, Tyrese's meltdown, I always say, be careful what you put on social media. You don't see me with my shirt off a lot on social media for a reason. Now I have a tank top on, my arms ain't that bad, but I'm not, no. If you want to see me with my shirt off, either go see the movie Held Up, go see Ride Along, go see the movie College. I got my shirt off in a lot of movies. So if you want to see my clothes off, just go see a movie, And with that, and a lot of times, like if me and my wife get in an argument, I'm not going to post it on social media. Sometimes I have had deaths in the family. I talked about my brother's death at length, but when he first passed away, I just posted a couple pictures. I didn't go on videos and stuff because I knew emotionally I wasn't there. So Tyrese puts a lot of his business out there on social media, and then he acts like he doesn't. And then he did this whole crying bit about his daughter. And believe me, I feel for him. I do. And I'm a dad, so I'm not an asshole, but it was funny. I mean, I'm a comedian, and it's funny. I was laying in bed, and I told my wife, I said, get up. I said, I got an idea for this Tyrese video. And she wouldn't get up. She goes, no, I'm in bed, and she had her hair wrapped. So I got my daughter to do it with me, where I parodied the Tyrese thing.
I've been away from my baby for 2 months. I just want my baby.
I want to shout out all the real men out there that have their kids with them. I just miss them. I miss my baby. Sweet lady, would you be my sweet love? This is my baby. This is all I got. Hi. It says hi, but it's backwards. I just want my baby. I reached out to all my friends, Vanilla Ice and Michael Rappaport and Joseph Sikora, and none of them call me, but I'm there for you guys. I miss my baby.
Dad, why are you crying?
I miss you.
I live with you.
Oh yeah, I forgot. She does live with me. All right. Nice. Everything's good. Sorry.
And it went viral everywhere. But you got a few, and it's mostly women that are, Tyrese got a huge female fan base. So it's mostly women like, karma's going to come back on you. And, you better be careful. Hopefully this never happens to you. Blah, blah, blah. I go, first of all, my son's 16, my daughter's 15. If anything would happen between me and my wife, there's no custody battle anymore. They only got a couple years left. And they know who their dad is. They know what I'm about. So I'm past that point. And plus, let's just be honest. Tyrese has doesn't have the best rep of being a nice guy to a lot of people. He's got a rep of he thinks he's better than people. And people see you at a weak moment, they're going to pounce and come after you. And I didn't even come after him. I just made a funny parody video. And at some point, you have to take a look outside yourself and be like, hold on. If so many people made fun of me because of that video, then it was funny, or it's me. I had an issue. I said on my I had a comedy special called True Story that came out in 2012, and I talked about an incident with me and Tyrese. And in case you guys didn't see, here's what happened. I was on Twitter and I talked about Tyrese twice on Twitter 7-8 years ago. And one, I said I went to go see the Transformers movie, and I kept waiting for Tyrese to give the Autobots relationship advice to get along with the Decepticons. So, because he's always talking about relationships, and when he's on social media and everything. So I just said, if Tyrese is such an expert at relationships, why is he divorced? That's what I said. So Tyrese sees me at a party, and his girlfriend at the time, I knew her. So she goes, Gary, what's up? Meet my boyfriend, Tyrese. Like, I know who Tyrese is. So I go, hey, what's up, man? And I had met him before. That's the thing. It'd been a couple years, but I had met him before. And he just didn't want to shake my hand. I go, what's up, man? He goes, hey, man, I'm real. I said, huh? He goes, I'm just real. And I was like, I thought you were Tyrese. I thought your name was Tyrese. So he's got this LA Dodgers hat, and it's cocked below his eyes. And he's leaning against the pole like a column. But he's leaning against the column because I'm just real, man. I'm real. And I was looking at him like, why are you acting like that towards me? He goes, hey, man, you be talking about me on Twitter. And I said, no, I don't. Dude whipped out his phone and he had the tweet. I go, oh, shit. So so I literally told him, I said, hey, man, I said, my fault. Squash it. You want to just squash it right now? Well, let's squash it. He's, I didn't, like, almost like a side eye view, you know? And I think what bothered me the most about it is I think if that would have been Chris Rock or Kevin Hart or Mike Epps, he would have laughed about it, or he would have been like, blah, blah, blah. But since it's me, it's almost like, how dare you talk about me, And what's crazy is, like, I like his music. I'm a fan of his music. And there was one point we both did Arsenio Hall the same day. Back in 2014, I'll never forget it. It was the day of the ride-along premiere. And I did Arsenio that day, and then I did the ride-along premiere that night. And TGT was out. That was Tank, Genuine, and Tyrese had the group. And they were at Arsenio the same as me. And for some reason, his dressing room's right across the hall from mine. Boop, boop. So I never saw him really. I saw him like coming in and out. But I wanted to like say something to him, just, squash it almost. But I never got a chance to really see him. And because at that point, I felt for him because just a couple months before, Paul Walker had died. And I'm not lying. Within a month, Paul Walker died, and I had a good friend of mine die. His name was Thomas Howard. He used to be a linebacker for the Bengals. And on my special, I Agree With Myself, I dedicate the special to him because he died leaving my show. I had a show in San Francisco at Cobb's Comedy Club. And Thomas had just signed with the Atlanta Falcons, and he got cut. And I seen him out, and like, I just saw him out somewhere. I can't remember where. And I was like, I saw him in San Francisco. I was like, I thought you was in Atlanta. And he was like, dude, they just cut me, man. I go, really? He goes, I'm cool though. He goes, my contract was guaranteed for the year. And he said, so I'm going to get paid the rest of the year. He goes, but he goes, I'm cool. I'm going to give it one more shot next year. And if not, I'm just going to get into coaching. But he came to my show on Sunday night and brought his girlfriend, or his fiance, And I remember I walked him to his car. It was 11:30, 12. And I said, all right, I'll see you guys later. And I took off my flight left at 6 a.m. out of San Francisco. And then I landed back in Cincinnati. And when I landed, I had like 45 text messages. No, I'm not lying. I had so many voicemails that wouldn't take anymore. And I was like, what's going on? And, you just kind of get on your phone, you look at Twitter, and I scroll, and I'm seeing all these RIP Thomas Howards. I'm like, what? And I'm like, what is going on? And then people were like, was Gary Owen in the car? What happened was Thomas went and dropped his fiance off at her place. Then he was driving home from her place. So he tried to get around a semi, and he tried, how if you get behind a slow car semi, you'll try to go around it. And he clipped it. He clipped the semi, and his car flipped and landed on another car. And he was speeding, but he killed the person in the other car. Also, he didn't kill it, the car killed. So 2 people died. So all they said was in the press, 2 people passed away in a car accident. One of the people was Thomas Howard. His last tweet was, just saw my man Gary Owen's comedy show. So I was the last person he talked about on Twitter. So people thought I was with him when he died. And since I'm in the air flying, I don't know that all this is going on. So he died about an hour and a half, 2 hours after I saw him. So he dropped his girl off. They left. So by the time it hit the news and everybody found out, it was the morning, I was gone. And so I wasn't on Twitter. I wasn't on Facebook. I wasn't on any social media. So people were like, Gary's not saying nothing. What's going on? So I had to, this is crazy how it all went down. So I find out Thomas passes away. And that was one of the few times I lost it at the airport. Like I had my head down and I wasn't crying like one of those cries, but I'm tearing up. So I'm taping my special that Saturday in Atlanta. I'm taping my comedy special. Thomas's funeral was Friday. So what I had to do was I had to go to Atlanta early, do all my press for my special, and then I flew out Friday morning, first thing, from Atlanta to San Francisco because it was a direct flight. I landed in San Francisco, called a cab. I was changing in the back of the cab and into a suit because I was flying in sweats. I changed into a suit and I got to his funeral just in time. Just in time, it was about to start. And it was funny because they didn't put me on the I don't know if it's a program or obituary as one of the speakers because I told his mom I'm going to do my best to get there, but I don't know if I'm going to get there in time, but I'm trying. So it was funny because he had like a couple of his ex-coaches that spoke from the Raiders. He spent a majority of his career with the Oakland Raiders. He was only in Cincy for a couple of years. But a couple of his Raider coach spoke, ex-teammates spoke, and then they said, okay, if anybody else wants to speak, please come up now, but you only get 2 minutes to speak. So his mom said, let Gary go up. Now, if anybody wanted to speak, they had a microphone on the floor that people would come up and talk because there was quite a few fans there, Thomas and Raider fans. But his mom said, no, Gary goes on the stage. So I went on the stage and I get up there and everything hadn't processed yet. Like I was flying. I got off the plane. I got to the funeral. My wife's there. My daughter's there. I'm like, okay. I just took a breath. And then it's the first time, oh God, I gotta talk about that day. So I remember walking on the stage and I just started crying immediately. Like I just couldn't get any words out. And I looked back at the pastor and I said, hey, this don't count against my 2 minutes. I ain't start talking yet. And it kind of broke the place up. It broke the sadness up. And I remember, I don't remember everything I said, but what I remember the one thing that I said about Thomas was, I said, you never know when it's your last day on earth. None of us do. I was like, so think about Thomas's last day. I said, he spent it with his fiance. He went to a comedy show. He was laughing. He was having a good time. I walked into his car. I said, we hugged. We said, I'll see you later. I said, and then he took his girl home. I said, that's a great last day. That's a great last day. So Paul Walker dies. And I remember thinking, God, when Tyrese was, and he had the video cameras in front of him when he went to Paul Walker's, the crash site where the car crashed. At some point, I think somebody should just pull Tyrese aside and be like, look, man, you ain't got to have cameras every time you go through stuff because then people don't know whether it's real or if it's for show. Because I even made a joke, and it's not a funny joke, and it might be too soon, but I told somebody, I said it's so much right now with Tyrese on the internet and what he's going through. I said, it wouldn't shock me if next year he's going to networks pitching his life, pitching his show as a sitcom. And then a year and a half now, we got Taye Diggs as Tyrese in Black Rose or something. And it seems to me, and not even just Tyrese, but it seems to me that it's always the people who be like, I don't put all my business out there. They're the ones that put all the business out there. I got people I follow on Facebook that I grew up with, and I follow them for the only reason it's entertainment to me, because they put everything about their whole life on Facebook. I mean, everything, the good, the bad, everything. Let me tell you, I'm not even trying to put this out there, but for some reason, me and my wife went through something and we're going to break up. You'll never hear anything from me. Why? Ever. It's just like, whatever. I don't care what's out there. You don't hear nothing from me. I got relatives that were in jail. I didn't tell people my brother was a heroin addict. I never said that. Then when he passed, I still didn't say anything about him being a heroin addict until I spoke with some people and they said, "Yo, you got to tell his story. It's going to help people. You got to tell it. And you got a platform where you can tell it." And one thing that I remember when my brother passed, I know a guy whose son is dealing with opioid addiction. And I saw him less than a week after my brother passed. And as soon as I saw him, I lost it. And I sat down, I talked with him, and he said, he's the one that said, he goes, "Gary, man, you got a platform, man. People listen to you." He said, "So you got to speak on it. You got to tell his story." And I was like, all right. And that was it. So, I went down to Jacksonville. I had a show there Friday night, and I had a show in Ocala, Florida, Saturday. And I stayed for the Bengals game on Sunday in Jacksonville. And I got to thank Marcel Darius, who just got traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I got to sit in his suite because it was baking outside. It was hot. And it was funny because Marcel, his whole suite was a bunch of his people from Buffalo. And I asked him, I said, "What do you prefer? The hot or the cold when it comes to games? Do you prefer Miami, it can get up to 100 degrees. Like Miami, that's just open. Tampa, it's just open." I go, "Well, what do you prefer, cold or hot?" And we all agreed, and granted, it was mostly white people in the suite. We agreed cold because once you're hot, you're hot. There's no cooling off. When it's 100 and you're baking, you're just sweating and you're miserable. When it's cold, you can bundle up. I mean, you could stay somewhat warm in the cold. And we both said it. We said, if you're going to tell me 100 degrees in the sun or 0 degrees with snow, I'll take 0 degrees in snow every time to watch a good game. Good game. So I want to thank Marcel Darius for letting me crash the suite. I even put a post on my Snapchat because for the first quarter and a half, I was the only one there. I guess they got there late. The whole suite was just by myself. And the lady kept coming in because how suites work at NFL stadiums is you got the suite, but then you don't have to. But if you buy food, you can't just buy a hot dog. You got to buy hot dog, and it's usually for 10 people. They're all their orders are for 10 people, and it's completely overpriced. So my suite attendant kept coming in and asking me what I wanted. And I was like, I can't just order a hot dog. He goes, "No. Can I get a half order?" He's like, "No." I wasn't about to spend $130 on hot dogs, buns. And it was funny because even a pizza was $50. I go, "This is ridiculous." All suites are like that, though. All suites, you think you're getting a suite, but then you got to order the food, and it's completely overpriced. Every year, I go to a Cincinnati Reds game, and I do this for friends and family, and I get a suite for one game. And we always have a ball, but it's just the food. I'm like, really? Really? Because you pay, I think the Red suites, it's $1,000 and some dollars because, baseball isn't that bad. You can rent a suite out and it seats 16. So if you really look at it, if you break it down, if more guys would think that way, dude, let's get 10 of us together, each put in $100 and some dollars. Let's just get a suite and make it a party. Especially night games. To me, baseball night games are way better than day games. It's just something about watching anything under the lights is better. Football, baseball, anything. But one of the worst offensive performances I've ever seen. It looked like the Bengals from 92, 93. I didn't realize they only had the ball for 19 and a half minutes the whole game. And then they had 140 some yards of total offense, and 60 of it was on one play, a pass to Tyler Croft. The most exciting part of that game was A.J. Green beating up Jalen Ramsey.
Chokehold on Jalen Ramsey. Watch. So Ramsey will push him down. Ramsey pushed down A.J. Green. Green throws him in a chokehold, rips him back down, and is throwing punches. No one has any chill at this moment, and they're after it.
I haven't seen anybody go off like A.J. Green did since Andre Johnson did a few years back when he whooped that DB from Tennessee's butt.
Both out because of this action right here. Finnegan gets the first shot, then gets his helmet knocked off. He takes off Johnson, and now Johnson is going to get a couple of good shots in there, or bad shots, if you will. And they're both gone, as well they should be. Boy, you just don't see that in the NFL very often. That uppercut right there landed.
Johnson has been ejected. Finnegan has been tossed from the game as well.
But I know AJ, and a lot of people know AJ. He's so quiet and laid back. He's one of those football players, like, he doesn't need all the extras. He doesn't need the fame. He doesn't need, he's not a big club goer. So, he's married. He's got a young kid. He's got a beautiful wife. I think he's one of those players, he just wants to play football, of course, make some money, and leave him alone. That's it. That's all he wants to do. If he didn't have to do press, he wouldn't do it. Another guy like that was TJ Houshmandzadeh. TJ Houshmandzadeh, who's a lot more vocal than AJ, just wanted to play football, make his money, and leave me alone. I don't need other extras. That's all he wants to do. So for AJ to go off like that and it was funny because I was sitting there watching it, and I'm in the stadium, and since we weren't doing anything, I just kept watching AJ for 2 series. And I was like, let me just see what he's doing. And it was funny because I saw the play, it was over. Then I saw Jalen Ramsey kind of nudge him. And it was almost like an elbow that hit him. You know, you get a paper cut, or you know what I hate? Titty twisters. I don't know why in high school people come up and twist your nipple. Motherfucker, man, I'd rather get shot than a titty twister. But it looked like he hit him in a place where AJ was his it was right in his ribs. So I could see it was one of them spots. It was ugh. And it was probably a combination of frustrated. He wasn't getting the ball. Nobody was doing anything on offense. And Jalen Ramsey has a rep of talking a lot. So he probably got underneath AJ's skin, and he must have said something at some point, and then AJ just went off. Thank God neither of them are suspended. I don't think Jalen deserves to be suspended at all. And I'm biased. I'm glad AJ's not suspended. So now we actually have a small shot at beating the Tennessee Titans. There's a play where Andy Dalton got sacked on a play. Calais Campbell hit him, and then somebody else hit him. And literally, Obuehi, our left tackle, just let the dude run right into Andy and then didn't even help him up. It was no effort. And it just, I'm never one to just put it all on the head coach, but it seems like this team is checked out mentally. And I like Marvin Lewis, but I'm not going to be upset if they go a different direction. And it's bring in some fresh blood. And I talked, my show Friday night, I left 23 tickets for the Jaguars, and they all came. So I'm rooting for them the rest of the year because they show me love. So I got to show them love. I didn't root for them Sunday, and they knew that. But I'm rooting for them to win the AFC South. I was talking to Calais about the Bengals offensive line, and I was like, hey, man, you be watching them on tape, man. What you think? And Calais doesn't talk smack about people. He's one of them NFL players. We're all in a fraternity, and we got to, he even said after the AJ Green fight, I went out to dinner with Calais and some of his friends, and I asked him, I was like, what happened with that, man? He goes, oh, no, man, I'm just going to, I'm going to talk to Jalen. He goes, he's got a rep of getting under people's skin. And he goes, I'm all for it. Talk smack, get in people's head. He goes, but there has to be a line because we are a fraternity. He said, the offensive line ain't that good. He goes, but Andy Dalton does a lot of good things in the pocket to avoid getting sacked and getting more interceptions. And, that's coming from one of the best defensive players who could be the defensive player of the year this year. He gave Andy Dalton props. He goes, he does a lot of little footwork and little things within the pocket that avoids a lot of that basically hides a lot of the deficiencies that the Bengals have. So this is coming from a defensive player who watches film every week. He gave Andy Dalton his props. He said, he just said the offensive line sucks. If we do nothing else this offseason, if Marvin, any of the coaches, just get some offensive linemen, please. That's enough on my Bengals. This week, they're going to Nashville to play the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go to the game. I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina on Saturday with Tony Roberts, Earthquake, Jess Hilarious, Tyler Chronicles. There's 6 openers for me. There's 6, not for me. There's 6 other people on the show before I hit the stage. But it's at the Greensboro Coliseum. I'm just going to stay in Charlotte and drive up and drive back. To me, that's easier because I was looking at flights into Greensboro and I was like, why am I worried about this? It's 90 miles from Charlotte. I'd rather get a direct flight into Charlotte and just drive up, just stay in Charlotte and drive back. So when I found that out, I go, I got to go back to Atlanta on Monday to finish shooting Meet the Blacks 2, The House Next Door. I got Sunday off. So I was like, I can either come home real quick and then I got to take off Monday morning, or I'll just fly to Nashville, direct flight from Charlotte, Sunday, go to this Bengals game, hang out there. Won't have to get up early on Monday because Nashville is nothing but a 45-minute flight to Atlanta. And so I'm just gonna get my Super Bowl picks now. From what I've seen, it's gonna be a Pennsylvania Super Bowl. Really think that. I think it's gonna be Philly and Steelers. Only thing about the Steelers is, just like the Steelers had the Bengals number, the Patriots always had the Steelers number. And that's who I'd be worried about if I'm the Steelers, because I think pretty much they got the AFC North locked up. I know we're halfway through the year, but that's what it looks like. But Philly, they're annihilating people. They got everything. You know? So I think it's going to be Philly. Right now, halfway through the season, week 9, we're a little over halfway. I say Philly, and it's fucking Steelers. That's who I say. You're not going to hear me say Pittsburgh with a lot of passion. It'll never happen. And I tell you what, 2011 was the best, as far as football goes, it was the best season for me. It's my favorite season as a Bengals fan for a couple reasons. One, the Bengals weren't supposed to do anything that year. That was Andy Dalton's rookie year, AJ Green's rookie year, and we made the playoffs, and nobody expected us to be any good. And two, Kirk Morrison, who is an announcer now, used to play for the Raiders. He was a linebacker with Thomas. Those two were the Raider middle linebackers 10 years ago. And he's the one that said, hey, my buddy Thomas just got traded to Cincinnati, and I had a comedy show because he wants to come to your show. And Thomas came, and he brought Ray Maluga and one other guy. And me and Thomas clicked immediately. Like, as soon as I saw him, it wasn't awkward. We're just talking backstage about life, not even football. And he had a young daughter the same age as my daughter. So it got to the point, that 2011 season, where his daughter and my daughter were going to games together. She was going, I wasn't going. I was asking her for tickets. My daughter, like, hey, you talked to Thomas? And she was like staying a night at his house. His daughter was over our house. It was such a fun season because I got to spend it with my daughter and Thomas's family. It was like I was like an extended family of the Howards. So it was just such a good season, that 2011 season. And then the next year, 2012, was the year the Bengals draft. They didn't even draft Burfict. Burfict didn't get drafted. Vontez got signed as a free agent because nobody drafted him, and he was supposed to be Thomas's backup that year. And what happened was Thomas, in the middle of practice, and I was either after the first game or right before the first game, tore his ACL. Just playing it wrong and tore his ACL. So then Thomas was out for the year, and Vontez stepped in, and the rest is history with Vontez. But, Thomas had to rehab, and then he tried to come back the 2013 season, and the Bengals let him go, and he got signed by the Falcons for a few games. One of their linebackers got hurt, and they brought him in, and then the guy came back, and that's when they let Thomas go. And so it's just crazy how the chain of events happen in life and in your career. Because if Thomas doesn't get hurt, I think Vontez is so good, eventually he would have came in. But, you don't know what could happen. They Bengals might not know what they had and got rid of Vontez or whatever. I don't know where Thomas's career would have went if he would have tore his ACL. It's just funny how those things happen. Almost like if Mo Lewis from the Jets doesn't knock out Drew Bledsoe, do we know where Tom Brady's at right now? You never know. If the Cowboys don't suck one year, they don't pick up Ezekiel. Like when Andrew Luck they thought he might come out early and he didn't. So then Cam Newton becomes the number 1 pick. So, that's my my little rant on that. So anyways, that's all I got. Basketball, the Cavs aren't doing well. Here's the thing too about the Celtics, man. Kyrie, I see why he left now. I didn't see it before, but just in this early part of the season, and the Celtics are on fire. Hottest team in the NBA. I think they won like 8, 9 in a row. They're right now, the season today, they'd be the number 1 seed in the East. I see it. I see Kyrie. I watched a little bit of that Atlanta game against the Celtics, and I see it. I'm like, oh, this is what he wanted. He is the complete leader of that team. He has complete control, and now I'm not upset with him. And I don't think LeBron's going to be upset in hindsight. I think in 10 years, he'll get it. And you might get it now. LeBron's smart. You might get it now. But I completely get it now. I didn't before, but I think Kyrie's like, I'm at a point where I know I'm peaking physically. Mentally, I'm ready. And he's leading that team, man. He's leading that team. And he's got the right coach that's letting him be him. Like I think Brad Stevens, top 5 NBA coaches right now. Easy. Obviously I think Popovich is the best by far. I think Steve Kerr, but Brad Stevens, dude's a great coach. He's a great coach. So every week I'm going to do my crazy stepdad story. And this one is, it's not a crazy one. It's a minor one, but I don't want to give all the big ones right away. We got to space these out. This crazy stepdad story happened when I was 12 years old, 11 or 12. And I had these cousins that I lived in a trailer in the country, basically. I had these cousins that lived in the suburbs of Cincinnati. But I always thought they had everything. I always thought they had the best clothes. They had the best styles. They knew music before I did. Like, they were the cousins that first told me about LL Cool J, I'm in love. When I'm alone in my room, sometimes they go, Gary, this new rap, it's slow. I said, what? It's like, yeah, this guy LL's got a slow rap. I said, shut up. I never heard of slow rap. And they played it. Within 2 hours, I had this all memorized. We just kept playing it back on a cassette tape. And me and my cousin were sitting there listening to it. My cousin's name is Joey, Jerry, and Billy. And it was funny because when Jerry was in 9th grade, I was in 10th grade, Joey was in 11th, Billy was in 12th. So between the 4 of us, we had high school covered if we all went to the same high school at one point. But anyways, they got this hairdo, and I can't explain it, man. It just, they combed it straight back. I don't know. If they should have been the Cobra Kai of the Karate Kid that time. I don't know. It wasn't a mullet, but it was kind of a cool haircut. It was almost Vanilla Ice-like a little bit. It was Vanilla Ice-like a little bit. But I got my hair cut like that, and I finally got it. I found the right barber that could do it, and this lady cut my hair, and I was like, oh, snap, this is perfect. But I needed a specific brush to keep my hair in place with this haircut. And the brush cost like $8, and I got it. Like, I saved my money and got the brush. So I just get my hair cut. I buy this brush, and I go home, and my stepdad, I got to do something with him. And I got my cousin in the car with me. So my cousin's in the middle. I'm by the window, and my stepdad's in the front. And we got this old pickup truck my dad was driving. No air conditioning. It's summertime in Cincinnati. So every time we go, I'm like leaning in to the middle of the car because I don't want the wind hitting my hair because our windows are down. We ain't got no air conditioning. I'm like, the wind hits my hair, it's going to mess my hair up. So every time we would stop, I had this brush, and I would comb my hair back. Every time we stop at a red light, I comb my hair back. So then we stop at another red light, I comb my hair back. My stepdad goes, hey, man, why you keep combing your fucking hair, man? I just didn't have an answer. I said, well, it's just getting messed up and stuff. He goes, call me a girl. You acting like a girl, blah, blah, blah. He goes, man, stop. Don't be combing your hair no more. So again, we take off. I lean in. My hair starts to move because the wind's hit it. And I comb my hair again. He reaches over, grabs my brush, and just wings it out the window. And I'm like, I just bought it for $8. And to me, $8 was like 80 back then. So I just remember looking in the back of the truck, and my brush is just bouncing on the road. And I rode the rest of the time damn near on my cousin's lap because I didn't want my hair to mess up. And in my mind, I'm like, motherfucker, why don't we have air conditioning in the car? That's my problem. If we had air conditioning, we wouldn't have these issues. But the fact that he just winked. Now I got kids, and I'm just thinking, if my son got a cool haircut that he thought was cool and kept combing his hair, would that really bother you as a father? Would it really bother you? I got this cool ass haircut, and I just want to keep it in place. I was like, why does that bother you so much? And just winged it. I was like, there's no way that just happened. But that's a minor story, but that tells you how he would go 0 to 100. That's my crazy stepdad story this week. So look, this weekend I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina at the Greensboro Coliseum. And then I don't want to forget December 2nd, I'm coming home to Cincinnati, the Taft Theater. So it better be packed. What am I going to do if it's not? Really? Nothing I can do. I know when people say that too. My city better come out. I'm like this. What if they don't? Like, it's a threat. My city better come out when I come to Cincinnati December 2nd. Or what? I know one thing, they best come out. I hope we pack the Taft Theater out. I'm going to give a good show. So, yeah, I can't wait. I've had this date circled so long. I tell you, December 2nd, out of all the shows I've done this year, and this show's been booked for almost a year, it's the one I'm looking forward to. And it's the one that, I've been doing a comedy club in Cincinnati so long, I'm making that step. Like, nobody's on the show with me. It's me. And I'll have openers. But as far as promotion-wise and ticket sales, it's on me. So I'm just, it's a big step because Cincinnati isn't a huge urban market, but it's big enough that I hope we pack it out. I really do. I got faith. I got faith they're going to come out and support. I do. So December 2nd, Cincinnati Taft Theater. Again, it's another great episode of the podcast, and I'll see you guys next week. Gary Owen, get some.